FC Kinetics, 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517.
Staples has everything for school at great prices. So this year you won't go back to school. You'll be ready to move forward and build that papier-mâché volcano.
I am not cleaning this up.
Ooh, yeah, I meant the kids. Staples will help them move forward. Right now, Crayola 24-count crayons and 4-ounce Elmer's glue are just 50 cents each, and 1-inch binders are only $1.99. Everything on your list at amazing prices. Staples, we're not going back. We're going forward to school. Ends 8/27 in-store only, limit 30.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. The NFL and the Players Association reach a settlement on Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson, who gets an 11-game suspension and a $5 million fine. ESPN's Adam Schefter.
I think both sides are giving up something here, which really is the idea of any settlement. I think the NFL would have liked not to have seen Deshaun Watson on the field at all this season. Deshaun Watson, again, last week expressed remorse for the first time and continued to feel like even the 6-game suspension was unfair in his mind.
Adam Schefter. Watson will not play again in the preseason. The first game he'd be eligible to play would be Week 13 against his old team, the Texans, in Houston. Braves lefty Max Fried comes off the concussion list today. He'll start tonight's series finale against the Mets in Atlanta. Jacob deGrom starts for the Mets. Shortstop Elvis Andrus will sign with the White Sox. He was cut by the A's yesterday. Regular shortstop Tim Anderson still out.
How would you love a chance to save some money on car insurance? Geico can help. Switch today and see all the ways you could save with great rates and discounts. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com to get a rate quote and get started seeing how much you could save.
In the heart of Beer City, USA, 2 men, 1 journey to create a sports show unlike any other. Unfiltered, raw, and honest. One of them played a soccer goalie opposite Ben Stiller. The other once scored 6 points on Steph Curry. These guys know their shit. Let's go! Tank Spencer, Jeremy Greene, the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings. And Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. Always live in the Ingles studio. Ingles Supermarkets, low prices, love the savings. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene. And today is going to be a good day because it's always a good day to put the crap to rest. Let's get past it, please. Can we all just drop the squabbling that we've been doing over the Deshaun Watson situation? Let this be the final call to it and never speak of it again.
It's finally over. Kind of.
Kind of.
Kind of.
Why kind of?
Well, because now I don't think I heard a soul say 11 games. Had you heard that number one time?
I had not.
I've heard every number but that one. So that's not one I was really prepared for.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard conspiracy theories. Stop. Okay. Well, we didn't want him on television against Tom Brady. Yeah, because that wouldn't have rated.
Oh.
Stop. Tell me you don't know how television works without telling me.
No, it's the perfect situation. He misses 11 games and then, boom, back for Week 13 to play the Houston Texans.
To play his former team in Houston, which is going to be
so much fun. So much fun. It's going to be the biggest dumpster fire that we've ever seen.
That's more of the word I was looking for. Absolute, unmitigated dumpster fire.
I mean, if I'm the Browns, that's the game I want. That's the game I want him starting.
Now,
right?
here's my question. Your first takeaway when you walked in here today was, well, the Browns are irrelevant now.
No.
Or are you sticking with that?
I think so. I think it's going to be hard for the Browns to make playoff contention, but I mean, it could be close.
How many wins makes it in the AFC?
At least 10, I would say.
Well, now here's what I'm going to tell you, and I think this is one of those things that people don't really think about. The AFC is way better than the NFC. We've talked about that ad nauseum.
Yes.
But what does that mean? That means that AFC teams are playing teams that are as good as them or better more often, which is going to do what to how you get into the playoffs? Brings the number down. Not up.
Okay.
I think 10 wins, without a doubt, get you in the AFC.
Okay. 10 is doable.
I think a team may get in with 9. Wouldn't shock me in the least.
Yeah.
Just realize, all right, AFC North, each one of those teams has 6 games with the team that's not them out of the Ravens, Steelers, Browns, and Bengals.
Right.
There's 2 losses there for every one of you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, there could be a lot
So
of
the division
splits,
winner, probably goes 12-5.
Mm-hmm.
The wild card's at 10-7 at best, maybe 9-8.
Maybe so.
And I'm looking at this schedule going, I'm not backing off what I said. I don't care if you were playing quarterback for the Browns. Week 1 at the Panthers. Sorry, Panther fans, that ain't going to go your way.
No.
Week 2 against my Jets, not going to go our way.
Mm-hmm.
Steelers, Falcons, it's 4 wins. So now I have to get to be comfortable. I have to get to 6-5 in the 11 games he misses.
Mm-hmm.
All I have to do that, beat the Patriots in my house, go to Miami and beat them.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything about that I don't think they can do?
I mean,
tell me what of that they're not going to do. New England's not good. I mean, love this narrative
maybe Miami, and that'll be.
Well,
that'll
you know how
I
feel about Miami.
Right. Well, I mean, we know they have quarterback problems. We talked about yesterday on the program how, practice didn't go well. Was that 2 days ago where they threw 6 interceptions in practice? And I get the Dolphins' defense and secondary. The secondary is kind of their bread and butter. So maybe it won't be that bad, but I don't know. I don't think that's a shoe-in game by any stretch.
I didn't say it was a shoe-in game.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't by any stretch say it's a shoe-in game. I need games that I can win.
Right, because I definitely do not think that they're going to beat the Chargers or the Ravens or the Bengals or the Bills or the Bucks without Deshaun Watson.
Secret time? I didn't really think they were going to beat any of those teams with Deshaun Watson.
It was going to be much closer. Yeah.
I would agree with that. And now you get to bring him back in a game against Houston that, okay, let's say he's bad like he was in the first preseason game.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares? The biggest takeaway I had was the schedule. Have you heard the schedule of how he's allowed to do things?
No.
He's allowed back in the facility in October.
Okay.
He's allowed to practice again in the middle of November.
Okay.
Allowed back on the field December 4th. That's a lot of acclimation time.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of getting comfortable with everybody, of which now you shut him down. You get Jacoby Brissett acclimated to the first team, and you're ready to roll week 1. Then you have 4 games against 4 teams that you are better than to get him in the right headspace. I don't think this is as damning to the Cleveland Browns as everybody else does.
Yeah.
I don't. And I think Deshaun Watson just became the most interesting stash candidate in the history of fantasy football.
100%.
If you are a fantasy football player, you have got to be sitting here going, is it worth it?
Right.
Because I kind of think it is.
That is actually the first question that I asked you when I came in today was, okay, now you have to help me figure out who the quarterback I need for the first 11 weeks is going to be. Because I'm in a keeper league. We keep 8. And Deshaun Watson, I kept him because he's going to be great eventually.
Mm-hmm.
So now I need to find the quarterback that is going to supplant him for the first 11 weeks of the season. And so, I mean, I feel like he is worth a pick anywhere because he's going to come back for that playoff push. And I don't necessarily like the end of that schedule because if the Saints are going to be as good as we have predicted that they're going to be,
and that's what we think.
Yeah, if Jameis is fine and that defense is terrifying like we think it's going to be, then that's going to be a really tough game.
And every single year, what happens? Every single year in the NFL, what happens? At least a handful of teams are completely ravaged by injury.
Right.
Would you be shocked if that was the Saints?
No.
Shocked.
No.
Just stunner.
Because if Jameis gets hurt again, which he's already dealing with foot problems in training camp, so if he goes down again, then that leaves them with Andy Dalton and who was it they just signed? Who was the backup that they just signed?
Ian Book is the 3. KJ Costello is the...
Yeah, KJ Costello. Like, one of those guys is going to be the quarterback for the New Orleans Saints? Okay, yeah, they're bad, and I don't care.
I'm just saying there is a path that this is not the end of days for Cleveland like everybody thinks. Now, let me ask you another question.
Mm-hmm.
How many games did it take to win the AFC North last year?
Was
Cincinnati wound up in the Super Bowl.
Was it 11?
It was 10.
10, okay.
Bengals won 10. Steelers won 9. Browns and the Baltimore Ravens won 8.
Mm-hmm.
Will you be stunned if it's not the same thing again?
Not stunned.
Everybody just kind of cannibalizes themselves because everybody's so good. Everybody's schedule's so tough.
Right.
And Cleveland walks into 3 automatic wins early in the season.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's say you think they lose one, whether it's the Panther fans, of which I love you all so dearly. I do. But stop. Somebody said Carolina by 2 touchdowns in week 1.
Oh, gosh.
I want to hug you. I do. I want to hug you so bad.
This is still a good team without Deshaun Watson.
Mm-hmm.
Stop flipping your lid on everything hangs in the balance, that they're going to lose to these dog-do teams. And, yes, I'm sorry. I'm putting the Carolina Panthers in that situation. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to be a great team.
I think this was the best-case scenario for the Cleveland Browns.
Best case scenario would have been to have him serve the 6-game suspension.
But that wasn't going to happen.
No,
you knew the NFL was not going to let that happen.
No. And the NFL, I think, wanted to avoid at all costs the legal battle that was going to ensue. Because, as I said, from the jump, when they appealed and they appointed, what was his name? It's not Peter Warwick. For some reason, that's the name coming into my mind. The former Attorney General for New Jersey that they had, Peter C. Harvey. So they were going to get him to basically give the penalty that the league wanted. That was Roger Goodell's MO the whole time. Was she didn't give me what I wanted, Sue L. Robinson, so I'm going to go and find a guy who will. So
why do we always use judges? Why do we always use their middle initial?
It's like I don't know. It's like a
nobility
thing.
They all sound like bit players on Law and Order.
That's why
when we say it that way.
But that's why we call them all honorable. Is the Honorable Susan L. Robinson. It's a respect thing. But yeah, Susan Robinson did not give him what he wanted, so he went out and got this other guy who was going to give him the full season suspension, and then there would have been a legal battle because the PA wasn't going to stand for it. And so this was your best bet. And I'm sure that the league went, okay, you want to negotiate? We're starting at 17 games. Where do you want it? And they said 0, and they met somewhere in the middle. PR-wise,
I fully believe this did not go what you just said.
What?
I'm not so sure this was a meet you in the middle.
Okay.
I think this was two sides that, in their own head, we will win. And that's how they acted forever. Mm-hmm. In their own head, we will win.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think the lawyers got a hold of both of them and went, there's a good chance that neither one of you are going to win here.
Right.
There is a no-win proposition.
Right. The base was 6 games because that's what Sue L. Robinson put out there. And then the league wanted 17. So they went, which way are we going to go? Let's meet in the middle, 11 games. I don't know if that's the exact middle point, but still, I mean, you get the idea. That's what happened here. The rumor had been floating around there that it was going to be 8 games, And that wasn't enough for Roger Goodell. You knew it wasn't going to be enough for Roger Goodell. The Browns did the best thing. I still think this is a major win for the Browns, and I know I'm in the minority on that. A whole lot of people feel like they just completely wasted this $230 million guaranteed contract that they gave Deshaun Watson. No, they structured it in a way that was going to hurt the player less to get him to come. Mm-hmm. Now you have your franchise quarterback. You're going to get 6 games of him to end out this season, maybe a playoff game, and then he can vault himself into next year when the contract really kicks in. And that is brilliance, I think.
I mean, this is set up nicely for Cleveland, and I think it's much nicer than a lot of people are saying. The Reverend, the Honorable Reverend of the Sportsocracy, Adam Black,
yes,
has said that Cleveland has one receiver, a backup quarterback, and they're one-dimensional. Okay. I see how you see that way. After the break, I'm going to take exactly what you just said, and I'm going to spin it just a little bit, and I'm going to compare it to a team that we saw last year, and you tell me where I'm wrong.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
Attention. It's time for the morning announcements. Make sure your parents are aware of the Ingles Tools for Schools program and ask them to link their Ingles Advantage card to our school. Remember, you have to do it each year. Now please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I am Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
The night race. It's as American as Uncle Sam deadlifting 350 while drinking a Busch Light outside his camper in a national park. It's as American as Earnhardt rattling Terry's cage. It's the Bass Pro Shops night race at Bristol Motor Speedway. And it's a cutoff race in the NASCAR playoffs. You remember what happened last year, right? Be there September 17th. Go to BristolMotorspeedway.com and get your tickets before they're gone. Can I get a hell yeah?
Bill was tired of saying no to his kids because of his debilitating pain.
I have 3 kids that are 13 and under. Every day they're asking, Dad, can we take a bike ride? Dad, can we play ping pong? Unfortunately, in the past, I had to sadly say no quite often.
An accident left Bill with aching knees and shoulders. Even after 4 knee surgeries, Bill still felt constant pain in his knees. And then he discovered QC Kinetics and their natural biologic therapies.
I did it on the knee. It really became life-changing. I had the same results with the shoulder.
QC Kinetics non-invasive regenerative treatments help restore damaged tissue and provided much-needed relief for knees, hips, shoulders, and backs. Right there in the office, no downtime. Bill's able to do just about anything these days.
Like taking my kids to Disney World and walking 10 miles a day at Disney, bike riding, taking a walk on the beach.
Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation today. Call QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517.
The Sportsocracy.
You were just dumber than a bag of hammers.
Normally, I mean that soundbite for me and Jeremy, but today it's a special tribute to Adam Black and Kevin Vick. And our YouTube comments, by the way, I realize I didn't do the setup at the beginning. If you're not in on the chat each and every day in the YouTube stream, you can go to thesportsocracy.com, click on the live video link, subscribe to the channel. That gets you into the chat, so you can join in on all of the fun. But come on, guys. You got. I understand having hope and pushing behind your team. Adam Black said in the comments that he thinks Carolina has a real shot at this division. Talking about the NFC South, I guess, or are they in a different division? Did they move divisions to, I don't know, the Big Ten West?
Well, I mean, I understand how it could possibly happen.
Oh, I mean, you could go down the path of how Carolina becomes the best team in this division.
Jameis Winston gets abducted by space aliens.
Yes.
The defense actually goes on strike for New Orleans.
Yep. That has to happen.
Tampa, Tom has gone to Aruba, and he has a midlife crisis and gets his hair braided, and now he sells sunscreen to tourists.
Right. He's just hanging out in Oranjestad. He's just like, I can't leave. I'm staying here.
I mean, that's 3, and I feel like I'm missing at least 2. I feel like there's still 2 more steps. Alvin Kamara, something would have to happen to him too.
And his point was that this defense could be elite. You are correct there.
Nobody disputes it. Nope. That's exactly why I set this up this way. Before the break, I said your words were, this team has one receiver, a backup quarterback, and they're one-dimensional. Then you said Carolina could win the division because the defense is so good. Cleveland's is too.
Right.
Theirs is better than yours, and it's not close. It's not even debatable.
Yeah,
they have the best corner, one of the top 5 best corners in the league, one of the best edge rushers, one of the best young linebackers in this league. Mm-hmm. What am I missing here? You can't have it both ways. Look, you can think anything you want to. But if you're saying you're competitive in this division, then so are they. They run the ball better than you do. They're better on defense, and their offensive line is exponentially better than yours. And that was just, in the break, I went, wow, that's actually setting up even better than what I was going to say. Because what I was originally going to say, what does everything I just said sound exactly like? Last year's 10-7 New England Patriots that went to the playoffs. Am I telling you they're going to win the Super Bowl? No. No, I'm not. I'm just saying there's more than one way to skin a cat in the NFL.
They'd have a much better shot at winning the Super Bowl than that New England team did.
And I have long said, when the entire league is getting smaller and faster and shiftier, how do you beat that? Get big and get physical. And that's what Cleveland's going to have to do. I think they're going to catch one of these games. I can't tell you which one it is. Do I think they're going to beat Joe Burrow? No, I really don't. Them against New England, yep. I'll take the Cleveland side of that.
Yep.
All 4 of those first games. Would I be shocked if they caught you? No. You have to win one of them. Then Deshaun Watson comes back, and there's this narrative that he's just going to be terrible. If he wasn't allowed in the building until the week he comes back, I would have agreed with you. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you something as clearly as I can. Do you know how I know when he comes back? It was sent to me. It wasn't in a press release. It wasn't in anything. They don't want you to know this because that was part of the agreement. Part of the agreement, I guarantee you, when they went to the negotiating table and they said, what are you willing to agree to? You cannot drop me in here on November the 28th and expect me to get acclimated to this team in a week.
Yep.
Because then I will be terrible. That's not how it's going to roll. He's allowed back in the building the first week of October. So he can be working out with his team 3 weeks into the season. That's a big deal. No, he's not throwing routes to receivers. He's in the building. He can't be in team meetings. He's in the building. Do you think that the game plan is not mysteriously going to wind up in his hand? Because I bet it does.
Absolutely.
Then you can get back on the practice field a month before you come into before you actually come into a game. There's not going to be rust. He's going to come out here and beat Houston by 40.
If you're just flipping it on to the program, welcome into the show. Today was the big news day. There has been a deal between the NFL and the Players Association on the Deshaun Watson suspension. They have all agreed to an 11-game suspension, a $5 million fine, which also the $5 million fine plus $1 million from the NFL and from the Browns, so $7 million total is going to go to charity to set up, education and prevention of sexual misconduct and stuff like that, which I told you was going to happen. And his suspension becomes effective on August the 30th, so he gets all of the preseason action. Then on August 30th, he has to be suspended, and he can't be reinstated until November the 28th for gameplay. But what you're saying is he will be back in the building in October, early October.
Yeah.
Okay.
He'll be back. So the way it was phrased to me, and I don't have the email pulled up in front of me, he will be allowed back into workout, conditioning, treatment, all of those things the first week of October.
Okay.
He will have 4 full weeks of acclimation time on field with the team.
Mm-hmm.
So what that probably means, and now there's a catch-22 of this. So just think about that. The 4 games that would ultimately, or 3 games, because there's a bye week in there, that would ultimately affect are at the Dolphins, at the Bills, and the Bucs. So he's going to be taking first-team reps. Let's say they're splitting them with Jacoby Brissett.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably not winning any of those 3 games. Now that I've said that out loud, maybe Miami, because I think you're better than them, and maybe you don't let him take reps that week. Maybe that's the game you look at and go, well, we might be able to get this. So, Deshaun, you go over there and hang out with the second-team guys.
Mm-hmm.
Bills, Bucks, you're not getting those.
No.
You're splitting reps with a backup quarterback that's not allowed to play, but then he comes back in for the Texans. Then you go at the Bengals. That's probably a loss.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but for some reason I have a feeling that the 2 orange teams in the AFC North are going to split, and it doesn't make any sense. It's just a gut feeling I have.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go Ravens, Saints, Commanders, Steelers. Those last 2, guaranteed layup wins because neither of those teams are going to be competitive for the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
You could be seeing Kenny Pickett and Sam Howell by that time. Anything happens to one of these other teams, because you're at 8 wins, I think worst-case scenario. The worst-case scenario for Cleveland, you go 8-9, just like you did last year with Baker Mayfield.
Mm-hmm.
Best case, you catch a couple of these games, you're at 10 wins, and you're in the playoffs with a top 5 quarterback and a pretty good cast of characters around him.
Yep.
Now, I will say Adam Black did have possibly the most genius idea I've ever heard.
What's that?
And I have made executive decision of this is so brilliant that I can't help but agree with it. We have yet to promo the Battle for the Belt.
Yes.
This is our fantasy football league. It's a DFS contest, season long, most points wins, and we'll get into all the rules a couple weeks from now. If you're a fantasy football player, trust me, there is going to be nothing into this that is not right in your wheelhouse. He said, can I come on the show if I win the fantasy league?
100%.
And I think that is a brilliant idea. I think we'll add that as a step. The winner gets a weekly fantasy football segment on the show.
Oh, weekly.
Boom! Through
Nice.
football season. I think it's a great idea.
Huh.
Now, and maybe it's the copious amount of medications that I'm taking. I might get away from this sickness and go, what did I agree to?
Okay. I was going to go a little less than that, but okay.
Well, I mean, we can do a lot.
I was thinking like co-host for a day or something, but
no, I mean,
you're talking like
if you beat
full-on
everybody in
segment
this,
every
you're pretty
week?
good.
All right.
You beat everybody in this, you're pretty good.
True. All right.
I think it's
I'm
brilliant.
in.
This is probably a good time to announce the thing we were talking about earlier, too.
Oh, yeah. We are going to be doing, what was it, yesterday? Day before yesterday, ESPN did their big fantasy football marathon. We've seen, we do this locally. Eddie Fox and the Kiss Country crew does a marathon for charity and all of that. So we're deciding that we're going to do a fantasy football marathon for charity as well.
Now, ours is a half marathon.
Yes.
All right, because if we do 24 whole hours, one of us will be asleep, first of all.
Here.
I was about to say,
All
probably
accounted
you.
for, yeah.
See, I can't drink until the ESPN show's over because you can't technically drink on air. Right. So that's the go-go juice. But we're going to do an 11 a.m. to an 11 p.m. all fantasy football. It'll be all of our different cast of characters. Caleb Peake will be involved. Cowboy Zach Hurst, Armchair. It's going to be a fun time. And all of the super chats, all of the questions, all of the things go straight to the Evelyn St. Nicholas Project.
It's going to be great.
Ta-da.
Yeah, going to be great. So it'll be a week from Monday. Not this coming Monday, but the following Monday is when we plan to do the 12-hour half marathon fantasy football, all for Evelyn Charity St. Nicholas Project.
And I will actually be on screen for the entire 12 hours.
Yes.
Now, the other member on screen will rotate over the course of the day.
Yes, it will.
And by the end of it, I'm going to be very sleepy.
It's going to be a whole lot of Bang energy drinks.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Consumed.
over-under on bangs that I consume in that day.
I'm going to go with 7.
Whew, you're setting the line way higher. I was going to set the line at 5.5.
Okay, that's more reasonable.
I would say it's probably over that. But it'll be close.
Yeah, indeed. You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. When we come back from the break, it'll be time to get just a bit outside. And we got something brewing in college football that could be groundbreaking.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, keeping the gray weather around through the weekend and all the way into next week. Still dealing with kind of an unusual August weather pattern here across the Carolinas, keeping some clouds around, some hit-and-miss showers in the forecast, and in general below average numbers. 62 degrees our low tonight, 73 Friday with showers, low 80s for the weekend with hit-and-miss thunderstorms. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Brakes for Less.
Brakes for Less is what we do. We know drums, rotors, pads, and shoes. It doesn't matter what kind of car you got. Call 888-261-STOP. All we do
are Brakes for Less. Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. But not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey folks, DG here. I have raved about Dr. Rebecca Merrill and her staff at Asheville Smiles for years now, and I hope you've already taken my advice. But don't just take my word for it. Gary recently gave a 5-star review online saying, quote, "I love the personal touch, !" They did a great job and explained everything they were doing. I am very happy we found Asheville Smiles, ! Believe me and Gary and the online review masses. And visit AshevilleSmiles.com.
I absolutely love my dog, but the constant shedding, not so much. But then I got a Swiffer Sweeper Pet Kit, and it is amazing. These super thick cloths pick up a crazy amount of hair. Just look at all that. And that was from just one swipe. And the best part? Sweeper's so much easier to maneuver than a broom or a vacuum, easily getting around chairs and under the couch. You're right. Now I can focus on you, not your shedding. Swiffer Sweeper Pet Kit, because shed happens.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
At Ingles Weather, we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park. It's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy. Heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com. Don't forget to click on that live video link and subscribe to the channel. So the Los Angeles Dodgers playing the Milwaukee Brewers. They're up in Milwaukee, and David Vassig, the sideline reporter for the Dodgers broadcast, thought it would make great TV if he went down Bernie Brewer's slide. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you're not a baseball guy like Jeremy. The Milwaukee Brewers have a giant slide out in the outfield, and whenever they hit a home run, Bernie the Brewer, their mascot, slides down this little slide, and he doesn't get hurt doing it though. Apparently, David is not really good, apparently, at slides. Doesn't know really what to do with his hands, Ricky Bobby style. Because when he went down the slide before the game, they played it back. And first off, he gets at the top of the slide, and you can hear him go, "Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no," because this thing goes from the top of the scoreboard all the way down to the concourse level. And then when he got to the bottom, he folded up like some kind of a rag doll and ended up pinning his arm between his body and the wall and broke his wrist.
It was not a
it was not
a graceful look.
No, it was the most uncoordinated thing I've ever seen. And my first thought when I was watching the video was, what a wimp this guy is. You get on the slide and immediately your reaction is, "Oh no, oh no, oh." Like, what do you think's going to happen?
I actually thought of you, if I was being really honest.
Why?
That strikes me as something you would do.
No, I love those.
Slide down a slide.
I love slides.
Oh, no.
Slides and roller coasters and all that stuff. I'm going to Dollywood this weekend. I can't wait for it. It's going to be awesome.
Indeed.
I'll tell you more about that in just a minute after Jeremy's story. But not a good look for David. And now he's still a gamer. He went and got the cast and then came back and did the game.
I did love when they went back to it. They showed this.
Yep.
And then after they showed it, they're laughing, and he gets on camera with his wrist in a cast and went, "Hi, friends."
Hi, guys. Just showing the cast first thing. Like, how uncoordinated are you? But there again, this is what baseball reporters of all kinds do. We weren't good enough, coordinated enough to actually play the game, so we're reporting on it. Hence why I do what I do.
I already have one team that just really, really makes it hard to pull for in my New York Jets.
Mm-hmm.
My Florida State Seminoles are getting closer by the day. We have a verbal commitment from a 4-star defensive end named Lamont Greene Jr.
It's good news.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, so here's Jeremy getting upset about good news again.
Nope, not quite. Let me get to the end.
Okay.
So when you get the verbal, you still have to send an official offer for them to sign a letter of intent and all those things.
Oh, no.
Oh, this is so much worse than you think. So we did that. Put it on a nice letterhead, had the Florida State logo on it, the nice Florida State font, and at the top it said official offer with one I.
Oh, no.
There are 2 I's in official, first of all. Then, to cover it up, we posted it on Twitter with the tagline, "We took out the I because there's no I in team. There's another I in official."
You used an I.
You did it bad, and then you did it better. And you can't make this up.
We took out the I because there is no I in team.
You
should say we took out the second I because that's how we're going to play football this year. Like, we got one eye shut.
It's okay. We were like the powerhouse in college football. And now we don't have spell check.
Oh, no.
Just okay.
Which I was it? I'm just curious.
The top of it says off-sile offer.
Off-sile, okay.
I'm still dumbfounded that you saw that and went, "We can make this up."
It was either going to be off-sile or offical, and I was just curious which one.
Offical would have been better. Yeah. I don't know why, but it would have been better.
It would have been better.
I just want to know what idiot went, we could make some chicken salad here.
Hey, at least
too hot.
Yeah, they may not they may not be great at grammar and spelling and things like that, but hey, the free shoes are nice. Right?
Hey, at least we're not good at football either.
Wait, do you still get free shoes, or do you have to pay for your shoes?
No, you have to win to do that.
You do.
Yeah, you have to. The free shoes train stopped quite a while ago.
Speaking of trains, I'm going to Dollywood this weekend, and I can't wait because I want to tell you a little story. So, many years ago, my wife and I went to an amusement park, and we got on the biggest, baddest ride, or got in line for the biggest, baddest ride in the amusement park. This is back when I weighed more than 300 pounds. I wanted to be front and center in the first car of the thing. When I got into the car, or to the vehicle, the thing wouldn't close. The little thing that holds you into the ride.
Oh, that is the worst.
It wouldn't close. The guy even came over and was trying to kick it with his foot to get it to lock into place. It couldn't happen. So what? I had to leave. I had to get off the ride. It was the most embarrassing moment of my entire life, of this fat guy having to do the walk of shame in the middle of a giant theme park in Orlando, Florida. I have now lost nearly 90 pounds with the PhD weight loss program since Thanksgiving. I went in to weigh today. I weigh 206 pounds. And there is no shot that I am going to have that ever happen to me again. It's the first time I will have been to an amusement park since that day, and I have PhD weight loss to thank for it.
I did not have the same weight loss goals, but I have had that same problem because, well, I'm a very large individual. I'm 6'5", the tank's 5'6". But I wanted to get back to my athletic self. I wanted to be able to work out. I wanted to be able to play golf. And in just 7 short months, I'm back to my high school weight. I can do all of those things, and it's thanks to the plan and program at PhD Weight Loss.
Do not struggle with a weight problem any longer. Go to myphdweightloss.com. Find the solution with Dr. Ashley Lucas and PhD. PhD Weight Loss is the official weight loss program of the Clemson Tigers and their fans. I'm getting really sick of you taking shots at me about my height. And what are you trying to say? 5'6" and 3 bills is not healthy?
Hey, I'm just saying, you know, I mean, I'm giving you an extra 2 inches because I really think you're about 5'4".
Oh, God.
I mean, when we took promotional pictures, they had to put you on a step stool. Fact or fiction?
This is fact. But I am a
and there's no shame in that.
I'm a healthy 5'10" and a quarter, and I'm sticking with that.
Were you wearing high heels when you were measured for this? Because if you're 5'10", I'm about 6'9", and I don't think that I. No,
you're not as tall as Stephen Tao.
No, not even close.
Not
actually,
even kind of close. The College Football Playoff Committee has met, and they had discussions yesterday that are very, very interesting. Because it wasn't a huge discussion. It wasn't an in-depth discussion. But we're told that for 5 minutes of the meeting, someone brought up, hey, we should probably consider this in the future. We should open our minds to the possibility that college football and the college football playoff will be better served if the NCAA has nothing to do with it anymore. And that, my friends, is what I call progress.
This is also step 1 of a 7-step phase where you're going to get what you asked for.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember, about the time we started doing this show, our buddy, West Virginia guy, Pat McAfee, said virtually this exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
The Power Fives are going to break away because they have realized the Group of Five, the FCS, sorry, guys, you don't really do anything for us.
Irrelevant.
Not irrelevant. Just financially, the money has gotten so intense with the NIL, with all of the other things. We have to look out for ourselves. And I feel like this is the first time I have heard the decision makers in college football agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're not agreeing. They're just agreeing to talk about it, apparently.
Well, that's how these things work. Somebody floats an idea. You go, we'll talk about that down the line. And then everybody parts ways.
Mm-hmm.
And they go to their respective sides of the world. And these ideas start rattling around in their brain, and they start getting discussed on shows like this.
Mm-hmm.
And the more and more you talk about it, the more you realize that's the only way this can go.
Yep.
That's the only way this can go. And it's better for everybody involved. I mean, do you agree?
Oh, yeah.
Because if the big boys break away, what does that allow for the smaller guys?
Their own playoff.
We're not just fodder for you anymore. Now we can have a separate entity. We have shown in this country, if it's football, we'll watch a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
We watched the USFL, which was eye-broccly. Not in huge numbers, but still enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's enough for you to make considerable amounts of money.
Yes, it is.
And so if the big boys break away, I could see a path that everybody else comes together and goes, we're the new NCAA.
Yep.
We're all one entity, and you follow the path of real close to here, Appalachian State.
My question becomes, how long does it take before basketball does this, or before
Basketball can't do this.
You say that, but can they not come up with a structure where they can deal with their own? Why not? Football does it. The college
football makes 10 times more than college basketball does. There's one draw to college basketball.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, guys like us, we watch the regular season. There's one draw.
The tournament.
That's it.
And the NCAA.
And the draw of the
that.
tournament is that you have these lower level schools that come in and they could be Cinderella.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's the thing. We've proven this time and time and time and time again. We like Cinderella in weekend 1. Weekend 2, we want them to go away.
Yes.
We want to see Duke. We want to see Carolina. We want to see Kentucky, Kansas, on and on and on.
Mm-hmm.
Basketball, it doesn't work. Football, it does. Football, it does. And you said, how long does it take? I'm looking at all of the things. All right, Big Ten's TV deal, which we're going to talk about later in the show.
Mm-hmm.
All of these things start in 2024.
Yep.
I'm looking at this year and 23 as you better be positioning yourself,
mm-hmm.
because the world is going to be a-changing 2 years from now.
Yes.
And if you're not ready, you could absolutely get left behind.
And the great news for the college football playoff is the other thing that was talked about for a little bit of time during this meeting. And I believe I said it was the College Football Playoff Committee. It was not the committee. The committee actually runs the playoff and selects the teams and all of that. This was the board of managers. So this was the college presidents, the guys above the committee that were talking about this. And the other thing that they talked about was changing the college football playoff before the 4 seasons that remain on the current contract runs out in 2025. Because remember, we've been talking about that for years. When does the college football playoff end? Well, they can't change anything until 2025 because this contract exists. Well, now they're talking about, no, we can change it. We can change it, and let me rephrase what that just told me. We're going to change it.
Bingo.
In 2024, you're going to see the college football playoff expansion come.
And I could see a path that the information on that leaks before this season is over.
Possibly. But all of this talk last, I guess I was going to say last offseason, but we're still in the offseason that this occurred earlier this year when the committee was talking about the college football playoff expansion and they couldn't come up with a deal, and some wanted 8, some wanted 16, some wanted 12. Well, the more and more those conversations have been happening, now we know it's going to happen. Everybody's going to get on board with changing it somehow, and now they're going to get into changing it earlier than we expected.
Well, and I could argue that this is the perfect year. This is set up perfectly for this to be the season that leads everybody to the change.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to say what I'm getting ready to say is uncommon, because it has happened a multitude of times in the past. I don't know that it's ever been this obvious. Just think about how much more intrigue there would be in this season. And there's a lot of intrigue. I'm not trying to say that, well, we should just skip it and go to January. Think about how much more intrigue there would be if 8 teams got in the playoff.
Yes.
Because this year you got Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, end of message, repeat the line.
Mm-hmm.
Because the drop-off to 4 is off a mountain. It could be Clemson. It could be Notre Dame. It could be Texas A&M. It could be a few other teams. Do you think any of them have a snowball's chance in Atlanta against any of the 3 teams I just said?
No.
No, they don't. But if you had a tournament scenario, could they possibly get hot? Maybe. Once you get in, anything could happen.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's a lot more alluring.
And as we found out last year, injuries can happen and change everything.
I have a funny feeling of the way this year is going to go, and it's very anticlimactic. All right, I'm looking at Alabama's schedule. How many games could they possibly lose?
1.
Okay, I don't think you understood how I would just ask that. How many games on their schedule is there a conceivable way they could lose it?
2.
I got 3.
Okay. I got Texas A&M, LSU.
Texas A&M's in Alabama. I don't think anybody's going into Alabama and beating them.
Maybe not.
I was thinking at Arkansas, at Ole Miss, at Tennessee. You're going to have to be on the road for them to lose.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
Yeah. I'm not, you know me, in Tennessee.
I do. Not. You just
There is no way Nick Saban's going into Neyland Stadium and losing a game. Not going to happen.
I didn't say it was likely. I said there's a possibility.
I think there's 2 possibles, and one of those is the SEC championship game, which I really don't.
No, that okay.
Right.
You're right. That's a neutral field.
I think it's Texas A&M, but, I mean, it's not good because Nick Saban lost to them last year, and we know what he does after losses.
That's 1. 2, it's in Tuscaloosa.
Mm-hmm. And the same thing about the SEC championship game.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be Georgia and Alabama again. And the winner, both of those teams are probably getting into the playoff regardless of who wins.
In our YouTube comments, Hosey said, I don't know why people fight expanding the playoffs. It's crazy. There's a reason why. After the break, we'll tell you what that is.
Roots and wings. The 2 greatest gifts any parent can give their kid. But when it's time for them to head off to college, there's also groceries, laundry detergent, notebook paper, ironing instructions, and futons that assemble with parts left over. At Ingles, we have all the comforts of home right around the corner. We know that life's biggest steps are best taken with faith and trust in the ones you love the most. Ingles, all the ingredients for family.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
Hey you! Do you like sports? Of course you do. But how much do you actually know about the history of sports in this country? If you're not 100% sure about that, check out the new podcast, The Untold History of Sports in America, presented by One Day University. This podcast celebrates the ceremony and examines the controversial storylines around sports in America. Listen to The Untold History of Sports in America from One Day University on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. But not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
DQ presents... Picture this. Picture the burger of your dreams. It's on the new DQ Signature Stack Burgers menu. A lineup of 5 premium burgers like the Flamethrower Signature Stack Burger and Loaded A1 Signature Stack Burger with 100% seasoned real beef patties, melty cheese, and a combo of top-notch toppings and sauces galore. This dream burger is calling your name. But it isn't a dream. You're ordering at the DQ drive-thru. Hello. The DQ Signature Stack Burgers lineup. Try it today. DQ. Happy tastes good.
As a marketer, you want to reach everyone.
everyone. Adults, teens, millennials. But it's not like these groups all hang out in the same place, right? Actually wrong. They're all right here, listening to radio commercials just like this one. Radio ads connect with 93% of Americans every week. That's more than Google, more than Facebook, more than TV. In fact, radio reaches 20% more millennials than TV. Want more of the people you want to talk to all in one place? Visit iHeartAdvertising.com and get AM/FM working for you. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
The Sportsocracy.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
All right, back here in the Sportsocracy, we're talking about the college football playoff and the possible expansion that's going to happen.
And before the break, I read a comment from our YouTube chat from Hosey that basically said, I do not know why people oppose this. I can tell you why. It's because there is a pie of money in D1 college football, and nobody wants to release even a little bit of it. So you have this tug of war between the SEC, now the Big Ten. The Big Ten has officially taken their position with the SEC. That's 1A and 1B. Mm-hmm. Don't get lost in the teams. You got to look at the money. The money's all that matters. All right, you look at a program like Miami that prints money. They haven't been good in 15 years. They're still drastically higher on the list than Oregon. All their money comes from Nike. This is not program money. This is not money that's just being poured in. So you got the Pac-12, the Big 12, and the ACC. All they want is their spot. But what has changed, now they've all figured out where they are in the pecking order. Nobody in college football does not know where they fall in now. Because you got SEC, Big 10 up here, chasm to the next three. And I'll be honest with you, I think the Big 12 is actually 3. ACC's 4, Pac-12 is a very distant 5.
Okay.
Without USC and UCLA, they're borderline irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a chasm to everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Now the difference is the 3 that have been fighting to keep their spot at the table, it's not we have to keep our spot at the table. We have to keep a spot at the table.
Mm-hmm.
Because they could leave us behind, and they know that.
Yep.
That's where all of this changed. It used to be SEC, huge drop-off Big 10, huge drop-off everybody else. And the ACC, Big 12 were closer than they are now. Now it's, whoa, you're way out there.
Years, yeah.
And if you just want to leave us behind, you can do that. If you want to come in here and pilfer us and turn this into an AFC, NFC of college football, there's nothing we do to stop you. What are Pittsburgh, Syracuse, and Boston College going to do to keep the Big Ten from pilfering Florida State, Clemson, North Carolina, Duke, NC State? Nothing. You have no control. They want to give up grant rights. I had an attorney do the math on this. The ACC teams could actually leave, give up their grant rights, and they would still come out better in the Big Ten than in this horrid deal they're in with ESPN. You'll still come out better.
Wow.
So that's not a thing anymore. You can't hold that over somebody.
Mm-hmm.
The money is being printed elsewhere. So now it's just, I need a seat. I don't need my seat. I don't need the conference champion seat. I just need to be able to get a team in here and catch my little filtration of money, knowing that this is going to be 2 SEC teams and 2 Big Ten teams 4 out of 5 years.
Mm-hmm. College football playoff expansion will happen. It could happen earlier than 2025. And as we said, the board of managers of the college football playoff, the school presidents, they are now talking about just taking it away, taking football, major college football away from the NCAA.
The other thing that I think has changed some people's minds is the NIL. They got caught with their pants down.
Mm-hmm.
The Supreme Court legislated it, and now they have no control.
Right.
And the fear is, if that happens again, we'll lose everything.
Mm-hmm. And I wonder if these schools can put any parameters on that, but that's a discussion for another day. We got SportsCenter Update coming up here in just a moment, and then Caleb Peak will join me here for the 4 o'clock hour, talk some baseball and other big headlines in sports.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, keeping the gray weather around through the weekend and all the way into next week. Still dealing with kind of an unusual August weather pattern here across the Carolinas, keeping some clouds around, some hit-and-miss showers in the forecast, and in general, below average numbers. 62 degrees our low tonight, 73 Friday with showers, low 80s for the weekend with hit and miss thunderstorms. I'm meteorologist Scott Lauriamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Kelley Blue Book. Kelley Blue Book Instant Cash Offer is an official offer to buy your car. Enter your vehicle ID info, answer some questions, then get a no-obligation offer to sell or trade it. Then choose a dealer to purchase your car. Schedule a time and drive away with confidence. For all of the its, KBB.com it.
Charging a cell phone can be like getting a booster shot. A booster is given to enhance or restore protection after a primary series vaccination, which wanes over time. Schedule an appointment when you are eligible. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
Help the planet with a tip from iHeartRadio Earth. If you've enjoyed our incredible public lands throughout the country this summer, show some love for these spaces and participate in a volunteer cleanup event on National Public Lands Day in your area. National Public Lands Day is the nation's largest single-day volunteer event for public lands and is on September 24th. Learn more and find an event near you at nefusa.org/NPLD. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips for smarter, sustainable living or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/Earth.
There's a lot of talk about the COVID-19 vaccines, and everyone has an opinion. So I went to somebody I already trusted, my doctor. Talk to your doctor or healthcare provider and make the decision that's right for you. Go to getvaccineanswers.org for the latest information. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
I'm Doug Brown. Before former New Jersey Attorney General Peter Harvey could make a ruling, the NFL and the Players Association reach a settlement. Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson gets an 11-game suspension and a $5 million fine. Watson met with the media today.
I'm moving on with my career and my life, and I'm continuing to stand on my innocence. Just because, settlements and things like that happen doesn't mean that a person is guilty for anything. I feel like a person has the opportunity to stand on his innocence and prove that, and we prove that on the legal side, and we're just going to continue to push forward as an individual and as a person.
Watson will be evaluated by behavioral experts and follow a treatment program in order to be reinstated. Giants quarterback Daniel Jones says today he had a non-football related procedure on his neck over the winter. Jones says the procedure was not related to the neck injury that kept him off the field for the last 6 games last year. Baseball today, Albert Pujols with a pinch hit grand slam against the Rockies, career home run number 690. The Cardinals lead 13-0 in the 9th.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Coming to you live from the Ingles Studio. Ingles Supermarkets, low prices, love the savings. I'm Tank Spencer, filling in for Jeremy Greene for the hour. I don't know if you picked up on this in that first hour, but Jeremy's a little under the weather. He's been struggling with this, like a sinus infection for like 4 days now, and he is... So we're going to give him a little respite here. Caleb and I are going to take it away, talk some baseball. We'll talk about other things going on. College football right around the corner. We got the NFL preseason. Jeremy will be back in here to give you the pick tonight for the preseason game between the Chicago Bears and the Seattle Seahawks. We can't wait.
Is that what all the noise was coming from?
Oh, my gosh.
I was down the hall, and I'm like, it sounds like a sermon is going on in here. I mean, Jeremy sounds a little sick, but...
Oh, yeah, he was losing his mind earlier in the show talking about the Deshaun Watson suspension, which we can get your thoughts on as well in this hour. We got all the time in the world to play with here in the Sportsocracy. Be sure to go to the sportsocracy.com. Click on the live video link in the middle of the page so you can see us on YouTube every time that we are live here in the Ingles Studio. And subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat.
You good?
I'm sorry. I got a little frog in my throat there, and, my finger's not cooperating. I was trying to clear my throat off the mic, and then I turned it back on too soon, and, things are just weird. Things are weird.
It kind of feels like I've walked into a quarantine zone. Is it safe to spend an hour in here?
Yes,
okay,
it
cool.
Is.
All right.
We've wiped down everything, anyway. I don't think he's contagious. At least I hope not, because I've been in the same room with him for the last 4 days. Don't like that a whole lot. Anyhow, welcome back into the program. And Caleb, it's time to talk some baseball. So my Just a Bit Outside story last hour was about the Dodgers reporter who can't slide on slides, apparently.
Well, the first one was okay. It was the second one that got him.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Because they filmed the top of the slide, and then they had to film his exit at the bottom.
And then as he comes down, he not only did he break his wrist pinning it to the wall at the bottom of the slide, he cracked 6 ribs.
6 ribs, like half of a rack. I mean, that's a lot of ribs.
Yeah.
And it's padded.
You got to do better. You got to do better. Like the New York Yankees. That's a good segue into the slump that has happened for the New York Yankees. Now, of course, last night was a whole lot of fun as Josh Donaldson hits a walk-off grand slam to give them a win, but that was, their 3rd win in 15 games?
It's pathetic. Yeah, and that was the worst pitch to give Josh Donaldson in that situation. A fastball up and away. It's where he makes his money. I mean, it's right in the wheelhouse for him, and he knew it the minute it left the bat. Mm-hmm. And hang on a second. I've actually got, bear with me, I've got some numbers about that I want to give you. Here it is. Let's see. He's actually joined an exclusive club with that home run last night. Did you hear about this?
I did not.
First home run for Josh Donaldson since August 8th. He's been 3 for 25 coming into that at bat. But with that home run, became the 3rd Yankee joining Babe Ruth and Jason Giambi to hit a game-ending grand slam with New York trailing by at least 3 runs in extra innings.
Nice.
So a lot of caveats there, but he's joined a highly exclusive club with that. So that's something to be proud of. But,
yeah,
there's been a lot of clamor coming from New York about why is he even in the lineup still.
I just think he's got more of a chance of being remembered as a Jason Giambi type player than a Babe Ruth type player. Josh Donaldson's good, don't get me wrong, and he's, well-traveled with Toronto and Atlanta, but come on.
And Jason Giambi had a little bit of added help as well.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
a little bit.
A little aid by needle, if you will.
Indeed, like Fernando Tatis, apparently.
Apparently.
We'll talk about that in just a second. But the slide for the New York Yankees, I feel like it couldn't come at a worse time. I mean, just looking at the state of baseball and the Yankees have been the highly touted team all season long, is like it's destined that they're going to win a championship or at least win the American League and then have a dogfight with the Dodgers coming out of, or the Mets or whoever makes it coming out of the National League. And then you had the captain thing going on with the ESPN documentary, which unfortunately I still have to finish. I'm still an episode away. Like I saw the I think it was episode 5. That was the last one I watched. That was about, of course, the Red Sox, coming back from down 3-0 in the 2004 ALCS, and it really didn't pay off for me as much as I wanted it to, because I was really kind of hoping to see Derek Jeter cry on camera. Like, I'm so distraught over that that's the big moment. And then they just kind of whiffed over it.
Just washed over it.
By the
right?
way, you guys did have the most embarrassing loss in postseason history, but we'll move on to other things. But anyway, I still had to finish that. But you had all of this going on, and right in the middle of this big slump where everybody's, obviously the attention's always turned up on the New York Yankees because they're in New York and they're the heritage team of Major League Baseball.
The team that Ruth built.
Right, exactly. So we can all recognize that the pressure is always higher in New York and on New York than it is for anybody else. This is a bad time. It's a bad time to be playing bad baseball.
And the problem is coming against teams that have no business beating the New York Yankees. Like a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about – yeah, well, exactly. Exactly. I wasn't going to go there, but I'm glad you did. But 2 weeks ago, we're talking about the value of winning series. 162-game season, you don't have to win them all, but you do have to win the majority of them. You've got to win series. And the Yankees haven't been. They've dropped 2 series to the Mariners, which, again – pay attention to Seattle. They are going to be a factor in the postseason. We'll get to that later on, probably. You lose 2 series to the Mariners. You get swept out by the Cardinals. You get swept out. Well, you drop 2 of 3 to the Red Sox. You let's see, 2 of 3 again. They lose to the Rays. Now you've got the Blue Jays coming up ahead of a crucial 2-game Subway Series with the Mets, and the Blue Jays aren't looking good right now at all. It's a case of an entire team coming down with the yips. I mean, that's what it has to be, right? Because New York is too good to be failing miserably the way that they are. Sometimes you'll see a couple of players go through these lengthy slumps like they have been. Josh Donaldson, case in point. Mm-hmm. But it's more than 1 or 2. It's everyone. I don't want to use the word cancer, but it's a contagion, a contagion, however you use that. Contagion, that spreads throughout the team. And it's something that actually the Chicago White Sox have done a better job of addressing this type of problem than New York has, because obviously the Yankees haven't addressed it. If they have addressed it, nothing has been made public about it. But you see what happened with Chicago last week. They were struggling. They were treading water, not looking good at all. You lose Tim Anderson, again, to absolutely no surprise to anyone. This guy is made of glass, and it's the most unfortunate thing I've ever seen, because if Tim Anderson is a bigger factor for Chicago, Chicago is a factor. Without Tim Anderson, there is no Chicago White Sox, and that's the shameful thing about it. But they're struggling, and Tony La Russa calls his team leaders into the clubhouse. I don't know if you saw the story or not, but he didn't call the whole team in. He called the team leaders in. So it's a smaller room. Everyone clears the air. Everyone gets their thoughts off of their chest, and essentially it's a talk about shedding the cockiness, delineating, finding the separation between confidence and cockiness, and not expecting anything. Expecting that the league isn't going to give you, they're not going to give you a win. Mm-hmm. You're not going to roll over everyone. You have to come in and earn it. And what happens right after that meeting? Chicago goes on a 5-game winning streak. It's just a matter of getting everyone's head in the right space. It's a team-wide case of the yips for New York, and frankly, it's unacceptable because this team is too good to be as bad as they are right now. Still guaranteed a spot in the playoffs, sure, but that's the last thing you want if you're New York, is to set up a first round of the playoffs, an NLDS or an ALDS, if you will, coming off of the worst stretch of your season. You don't want to end the season on a low note and have to play your best baseball of the year, because it's not going to end well for you. And if this team does not make the World Series, it's a total failure.
Absolutely.
The entire rebuild is throw it out the window. It's all for nothing because you haven't accomplished what you came here to do. Mm-hmm. And it's sad, really, to see the turnaround between the first half Yankees and the second half Yankees. It's a totally different ball club.
Oh, yeah.
And it's inexplicable.
The first half Yankees were on pace to be the greatest team ever, right?
Of all time.
Like, they were trying to beat the Seattle Mariners record for the best record in the modern era.
Mm-hmm.
And now you look at a team that at least in the last 15 games, like I said, they've only won 3 of those games. And you just look at the box score, or not the box score, but the standings, and you look at the last 10 category. They're playing baseball on par right now with teams like the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Colorado Rockies. That's awful.
Coming into this season, the AL East was expected to be one of, if not the best division in baseball. And right now, it's the worst. Top to bottom. I mean, right now anyway. And that's tough to say with the Yankees in the lineup. But look, I mean, Tampa Bay and Toronto tied for second place right now. And Tampa Bay has clawed their way back into it. They've been playing decent baseball lately. Baltimore, 11.5 games back, but they're a game and a half back from second place. Mm-hmm. I mean, where have the Orioles come from? It's a resurrection story.
From hell.
Exactly.
They have come from hell.
The wrong kind of resurrection.
They want to make my life hell, because I have the standing bet with Stephen Tao, the torture ticket, if you will, that one of us is getting a pie in the face at the end of this season, and it's whoever's team finishes in last. And I mean, pick your pie, Stephen, because it doesn't look like the Sox are going to get off the stick and do anything about this season. They've already cashed it in. They're like, screw it, let's get to the offseason. We'll make all the big calls that we have to on Bogarts and Devers, and we'll just move on.
Well, I'll tell you what,
no fire.
Xander Bogaerts is making the case for why he should remain a Boston Red Sox.
They both are. Stop this with will they? They damn well better. Kevin Vick will stand with me on this one. The Red Sox, Patrick Holt too. Red Sox fans unite. We will not let you get rid of these guys like you did with Mookie Betts, and then now see what happened. Ugh, that trade was awful. So terrible.
Yeah. I don't know who got away with that. Didn't somebody lost their job over that? I'm pretty sure.
Should have.
I don't know. I'm not a Red Sox guy.
Yeah. You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The biggest story in baseball. We'll get more into the playoff push and all of that coming up a little later in the hour. But the biggest story in baseball, obviously, over the last week and a half has been Fernando Tatis, one of the brightest young stars in the league. I mean, is it just being selfish, or is it that he's just a kid and he makes mistakes? We're going to get into the talk up next.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slowing 26 westbound in the Naples area, approaching Hendersonville Road. Again, 26 westbound slow between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 240 eastbound stop and go between exit 2 and exit 3. Near Fletcher, Hendersonville Road northbound approaching Fanning Bridge Road is slow. Again, Hendersonville Road northbound delays between the Arden area and Long Shoals Road. Sweeten Creek Road north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Near Avery Creek, Bavard Road north and southbound approaching Long Shoals Road is slow. And Smoky Park Highway northbound delays approaching Sand Hill Road. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Fall into autumn hiring with Indeed. Their all-in-one solution makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates. Sponsor a job and immediately get a short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep the facility running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, and Maria in Miami, Jules in Minneapolis, and Stan in Central Indiana, taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with experienced branch staff at over 250 locations so you get the product you're looking for. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Zero Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning, the most trusted and reviewed cleaning company in town. Take advantage of their back-to-school sale going on now. Get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for only $129 when you mention ESPN Asheville. Easily schedule your cleaning online at ZeroResAsheville.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. But not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Today on Hey Culligan, soft water, cleaner environment. What do you say, Greg?
Hey Culligan, are you saying if I have a Culligan high-efficiency water softener, I'm also helping the environment?
It sounds like you're saying it, Greg, and yes you are, because with the Culligan high-efficiency water softener, you'll use less detergent, soap, and harsh chemicals, and that's good for the planet.
Now you're saying it.
You bet I am, Greg. Soft water and a cleaner environment is already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
Roots and wings, the 2 greatest gifts any parent can give their kid. But when it's time for them to head off to college, there's also groceries, laundry detergent, notebook paper, ironing instructions, and futons that assemble with parts left over. At Ingles, we have all the comforts of home right around the corner. We know that life's biggest steps are best taken with faith and trust in the ones you love the most. Ingles, all the ingredients for family.
The Sportsocracy.
You are a regular nuclear meltdown. You better cool off.
Back here in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, live in the Ingles studio. Yes, we're always brought to you by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices. Love the savings. Caleb Peak sitting in for Jeremy Greene for the hour. We're letting him take a little bit of a respite since He expended a lot of energy in that first hour talking about Deshaun Watson and the college football playoff apparently breaking with the NCAA. That's going to be a big thing.
I knew that would get him fired up.
Oh, yeah. In Major League Baseball, though, the number one story has been about a guy who's not even playing. He hasn't played all year long because he's I wanted to say something that I can't say on FCC airwaves right there, but to me, the way that this all plays out is I'm not giving Fernando Tatis any kind of a pass on any of this. Like, dude, you are just you're a numbskull. You're a moron. First, you get on the motorcycle and you have a motorcycle crash, put your team at risk, break your wrist, then you don't come back, and then now you've tested positive for a banned substance and they ban you for 80 games. You're just an idiot.
After the team did an entire rebuild around you with the expectation that you're coming back, spent hundreds of millions of dollars to go out and put a team around you that is capable of competing with the Dodgers for a World Series, because you've got to get through LA before you can have a chance at anybody on the AL side. That's just not happening now. All of that is for nothing, because this is a guy who's doing nothing but looking for excuses. He's done nothing but put out excuse after excuse. Well, I didn't know. I didn't mean to. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you didn't mean to. You knew it was bad.
And the thing that I love most about this story is none of his teammates are happy about it, and they're not hiding their feelings.
Why should they
at all.
be happy about it?
I'm not. But normally in this situation, you would have guys making excuses. You'd be like, Fernando made a mistake, and we're moving on, blah, 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 blah. And you got guys coming out and saying, screw him. We don't need him. We got a good enough team. We can compete without him. Now, that's not true. I don't think it's true. Do you?
Without Tatis?
Yeah.
Can they compete? Sure. Can they succeed? No.
Exactly.
No.
That's what I mean when I say compete. Like, okay, you'll make the playoffs and you can maybe win a game or two, but I don't see you making a threat for a World Series.
Yeah, you're still going to beat a lot of teams without Tatis, but you're not going to beat all of them.
Right.
And that's what matters.
Right, exactly. And the whole situation is just crazy.
It's mind-numbing.
I'm just it goes back to, how do you keep doing this? How do you keep making the same mistakes over and over again? Now, I get it that Fernando's not the one that does things like this, but athletes in general, like, we just keep asking ourselves, how does this happen? When an athlete gets caught drinking and driving, or just something stupid, something so completely avoidable. Taking a banned substance is something that, Barry Bonds couldn't get away with. What was that, 20 years ago now? He couldn't get away with, it was the cream. I was using this cream, and I didn't know what was in it. Like, that should have been the last time any guy was able to use, I didn't know what was in it. Because from now on, before you put anything in your body, you got the team looking at it.
Right.
You're like, hey, doctor says I need to take this. You need to look at it and make sure that it's right. Or at least, a team physician or someone associated with the team. Now, Pedro Martinez on the pregame show the other night was talking about this, and he was like, oh, this is on the Padres. The Padres should always know what's going in their guys' bodies. To a certain degree, I agree with him, but the problem is he's not in San Diego. Like, he's in the Dominican. He's not with the team. He's not in the city. He's not there for them to watch over him. This is on Tatis 180%.
It's a very, very simple concept. It's called maturity. And it's something that a lot of people don't have, especially the younger the athlete is in any organization, not only Major League Baseball. We see this a lot in the NFL. We see it a lot in college football. Kids who come into a good situation, maybe a situation they aren't accustomed to being in. Now, that's not the case with Tatis Jr. because he grew up with a father who was a major leaguer. So he doesn't have that leg to stand on, that he's in a new environment and he doesn't know how the game works. That's not true for him. But this really, the more you think about this, the more that incident last August or last September between he and Manny Machado in the dugout, when things are going poorly and Tatis is just slumping around and he's moping and, oh my goodness, woe is me, and Machado just gets in his grill and gives it to him because Machado